have stumbled on a trafficking case.
Federal authorities declare a missing girl's runaways. Tread lightly, all right?
Treading lightly is Cowboy's specialty.
Maybe we could change that.
By the time we rode into this brand new chapter of Marshals, the trail had been winding through some pretty dark timber. We'd spent 3 weeks watching the tension build, especially around Kayce and the bloody fallout with the Clegg family. Episode 3 left us with that chilling image of a single rifle bullet sitting on Kayce's welcome mat, a silent promise that a storm was coming. And in The Gathering Storm, that front finally hit, even if it moved through the valley a little faster than expected. Welcome back to Wild West Screens. Today, we're breaking down the internal witch hunts, the shadows of the past, and why Kayce Dutton's badge is currently hanging by a thread. The episode picks up right in the eye of the storm. Randall Clegg, still raw from the death of his son, isn't interested in a quiet morning. He's weaponized the system, filing a DOJ complaint claiming Kayce shot his boy after the weapon was already on the ground. Suddenly, every move Kayce made in that tree line is under a federal microscope. Chief Marshal Harry Gifford didn't waste a second. He used the heat to bench Kayce and launch an internal investigation. If we're being honest, it didn't feel like a search for the truth. It felt like a vendetta. Gifford has been looking for a reason to prove Kayce is a ticking time bomb, and he finally found his fuse. The skeptics actually had some ammo this time. Kayce has never been a by-the-book lawman. He lives in that gray space where frontier justice meets the modern world. When the team started digging into his Dutton skeletons, they unearthed that brutal retaliation against the militia that took Tate. A reminder that Kayce is capable of a brand of violence that doesn't always fit inside a courtroom. This is where the episode felt a bit restless. Gifford put Cruz in charge, dangling a DC transfer in front of her like a carrot to get the result he wanted. Suddenly the unit, Bell, Miles, Skinner, was spiraling into doubt. 1 minute they're trusting Kayce with their lives, the next they're treating him like a stranger. It should have been a slow, painful rot of trust, but it happened so fast it almost gave us whiplash. The team went from questioning his soul to defending his honor in the span of a commercial break. The truth came out via trail cam footage, proving the younger Clegg was armed when Kayce pulled the trigger. It cleared his name, but it felt a little too easy. The storm broke just as it was getting interesting, but make no mistake, Randall Clegg isn't finished. Being proven wrong just made him more dangerous. He's shown he's willing to twist the law into a noose, and that's a threat that's going to haunt the Ridge for a long time. While the suits were fighting in the office, Kayce stayed benched for about 30 seconds before he and Cal were back in the saddle. A helicopter went down in the high country during a gale, leaving a wealthy landowner named Tom Weaver and his pilot missing. These outdoor sequences are where Kayce truly breathes. Away from the politics, it's just him, the horse, and the land. But the weight follows him even there. As they rode, Kayce and Cal finally talked about the shooting, the investigation, and Kayce's deep-seated resentment toward the wealthy outsiders buying up Montana piece by piece. The rescue itself was brutal. They found the wreckage, fought off a grizzly bear in a scene that reminded us how unforgiving the wilderness is, and dealt with the loss of the pilot. Kayce blamed Weaver for pushing the flight in those conditions, but the confrontation turned into something surprisingly quiet. They talked about the heavy burden of living in a father's shadow. In that moment, Kayce let some of that anger go. Weaver made it out, but the real shift came with his daughter, Dolly. She'd been frantic during the search, and her gratitude toward Kayce felt different. It wasn't just a thank you. It was curious. It was soft. By the time we hit the final scene at the bar, the change was clear. Kayce actually walked through the front door, a big step for a man who spent the season guarded and isolated. And he didn't walk in alone. He had Dolly by his side. Andrea Cruz saw it immediately. "I know what grateful looks like, and that's not how she's eyeing you. Saddle up, cowboy." This is the first time since losing Monica that Kayce has even looked at another path. It's complicated, it's messy, and for a man still drowning in grief, it's emotionally dangerous. When she asked him to show her more of Montana, his only answer was a quiet, unsure, maybe. Looking ahead, the clouds are still gathering. Randall Clegg is a thorn that's only going to grow sharper. The investigation might be closed, but the suspicion Gifford planted in the unit is still there, festering. We also got the bombshell that Maddie the bartender is actually Cal's daughter. That reframes everything and promises a much more personal trail for Cal moving forward. Episode 4 might have rushed the fence on a few things, but it planted some dangerous seeds. Relationships are shifting, enemies are mobilizing, and something tells me the real storm hasn't even hit the ranch yet. Stay gritty, stay wild. I'll see you on the next trail.